Next up at
Kyle's
UFC
not,
3.
nobody has an Uncle Kyle. Kyle's like a young man's name. You have an Uncle Kyle? There's no way.
There's got to be an Uncle Kyle.
I mean, maybe if there's like somebody, if you have an Uncle Kyle, you're under 25 years old. Nobody.
I mean,
over 25
Kyle is a
years
young
old,
guy's name.
Yeah, nobody over 25 years old has an Uncle Kyle. I'll say it right now.
Okay, fair. Next
back
up,
down. Yeah, back down, bitch.
it wasn't. That wasn't.
Nah, that's cool. That's what I thought. You stupid bitch. Back the fuck down. Run up, get put up. Whatever they say.
Okay. Yeah, terrifying.
Run up and get done up. There it is. Whatever. Run up and get done up, motherfucker.
Terrifying words. Next up, at UFC 322, we have Beneil Dariush taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. Beneil Dariush, 23-6 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Renato Moicano, taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, 15-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's on that little 3-fight win streak, and this is a pretty fun fight. We got Beneil Dariush, who I will say is the best scrambler we have ever seen in this sport. Certainly the best in this division. What that guy can do in a scramble is absolutely unbelievable. He's pretty good everywhere. He's got power in his hands. He's got great control, great scrambling skills. He can outstrike people. He can out-wrestle people. He can out-grapple people. He's a no-gi BJJ world champion, and he just beat Renato Moicano in a pretty sloppy fight, but he was also a dog there. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy's just a strong wrestler that is all grit. He just moves forward. He sling blades his way into a takedown and just gets after it. He's got pretty well-timed shots, a ton of pressure on top. 10 fights in the UFC with 24 takedowns. And that's impressive once you consider the fact that he has only ever seen a third round one time in his UFC career. He's got okay power on the feet, but for the most part, this guy is unbelievably durable. He's going to move forward. He's going to be diving at legs, trying to push you over. He's coming off that underdog win over Mauricio Ruffy, where he was hittable, but the nonstop wrestling pace was just a little too much. I wish this fight was a few years ago, because this is a few years ago when Beneil was like at his peak, before he seemed to fully give into the I'm a dad form. He would smoke Benoit, because Benoit would shoot some bullshit takedown. Beneil would out-scramble him, end up on top. Benoit would just get beat on top. Same way Renato Moicano beat him. Renato caught a kick, ended up on top and mauled him. Beneil would just win a scramble, end up on top, and maul him. The problem is, the reason I'm not quite there yet is because in his last fight, where I picked Beneil, and I bet on Beneil to beat Renato Moicano, in that fight, Beneil looked like shit. Like, he won the fight, but it really was because Renato Moicano was just way too distracted with 10 podcasts and all this other bullshit. Beneil Dariush did not look good in that fight. He won the fight, but he didn't look that good. And Benoit Saint-Denis doesn't need to be the better fighter here to win. He's just going to come forward, be aggressive, stay in his face, not care about what happens. Even if he loses a scramble, he's just going to get up and do it again. I'm going to pick Benoit Saint-Denis because I just don't know how ready for war Beneil Dariush is. And maybe I'm wrong, because there was kind of a long layoff after his fight was scrapped in January, but I got to go Benoit. I'll be rooting hard for Beneil. I really hope he wins. What do you think, Jacob?
Benoit Saint-Denis has only won 3 fights where he didn't really need to use his grappling. That was against Fly Miranda, who Fly Miranda's terrible. I think everyone will agree with that. The Bonfim fight, where he was just pounding him with that fucking body kick. Whap, whap, and Bonfim tried to act too cool for school, whatever. Well, Dariush is southpaw, so that power kick that BSD loves to throw isn't there on the southpaw Dariush. And then Matt Frivola. He knocked out Matt Frivola, but Matt Frivola had this dude on his shoulder carrying him around the fucking octagon before he got knocked out. BSD is winning fights, a lot of fights with his wrestling, with his grappling. He's not out-grappling Dariush. He's not fucking getting, if he gets a takedown, he's not winning the scramble. It's just not going to happen. Nobody does that against Dariush, and BSD's a pretty good wrestler, pretty good grappler, but he loses a scramble or two, or Dariush brings in the game plan that he did against Moicano, where Dariush got dropped at the end of that first round and was like, uh-oh, went to the wrestling and was able to out, because he can out-scramble anybody. So even if the takedowns aren't great for Dariush, you go into a scramble, he's going to end up on top, and Benoit Saint-Denis has shown issues that when you do take the wrestling to him, when he's on his back, He doesn't have a ton of offer there. So while he is all aggression, he's not winning striking matchups very often. He wins these fights with his wrestling, with his grappling. Without the wrestling, without the grappling, yeah, he's got the pressure. He's got the power. He can chin a guy like Dariush, whose chin is definitely starting to fade. But I think Dariush can kind of hang in there. And if BSD is forcing the wrestling and getting out scrambled, if Dariush ends up on top of this guy, this dude's going fucking nowhere. And if Dariush does that a couple times over 2 rounds, well, guess what? Dariush just won the fight, and he can, and he's capable of doing it for fucking 15 minutes. People underestimate how good of a fucking... I mean, he handled Moicano like it was fucking nothing. I know Moicano is kind of the same thing, good on top, not great off his back or whatever, but he was like, had no issues getting the takedowns, and you saw what Moicano was doing to BSD, so it's a little bit MMA math there, but Benoit Saint-Denis is not going to get the grappling against Dariush. It's just whether he finds a knockout or the pressure's enough, or it could be, but... I'm thinking Dariush, so because he's got the grappling advantage here.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. The only reason I didn't fully commit to that is because Dariush did look sloppy in that last fight. You said he got clipped. He was slowing down. It was just
the wrestling looked fine.
The wrestling looked pretty. If it was the Dariush from the Gamrot fight, I'll pick him 100 out of 100 times against Benoit Saint-Denis. If it was that guy, 100 out of 100 times. I think Dariush, when he lost back-to-back to Arman Sarukian and Charles Oliveira, after that run that he had, like unbeaten in 6 years or whatever the fuck it was, I think those back-to-back losses, he was like, I'm never going to be a world champ. And a part of him just checked out. And unfortunately, when that part of him checked out, we're just never going to see the full potential, really. I'll be rooting hard for Beneil. I refuse to bet on Benoit Saint-Denis here. I hope Dariush wins. I don't give a fuck about the pick. So I'll be rooting for Dariush. I hope he does out-scramble and does beat Benoit. I love that dude. So I hope he gets it done. $7,400 in DraftKings Fantasy. If you believe he's a scramble king, as I do, but you believe he also wins this fight, he may be worth that money. If you want to see what the optimizer has to say about this fight, if you want to see what the artificial intelligence has to say, if you want to see what the fight simulator has to say, these are all tools available on the website, and they're all included in one single simple package. It's $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click becoming members. $10 for an entire month. Unlock all of it instantly for not just this card, but every card for the rest of this year.